Welcome in, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. I really hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you enjoyed the Bosnia and Herzegovina versus Qatar soccer game yesterday as much as I did. So, today, I just wanted to give my take and reaction to the game, just give a summary of the game, talk about different players who I thought played well, who maybe didn't play so well. And then we're also going to look forward to the next matchup, which should be Bosnia and Herzegovina versus United States. So we got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. Before we jump into all of that, I would like to mention that on my YouTube channel, I create content about money, sports, and personal topics with the goal of bringing value to your life. So if you find value in this video, go ahead, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I can continue making these videos. Also, hit that like button and make some comments on your reaction to the game. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, guys, so going into this game, both Bosnia and Qatar had 1 point each. It was a must win game for each of the teams. Final game of group stage. If the teams tied, probably neither of the teams would qualify for the knockout stage. So this was definitely a must win game for either side. And that's really how they played it. It was a really good game. And at the end, Bosnia gets the 3-1 victory. And now they have officially qualified for the round of 32 after a few other games happened afterwards. And again, Bosnia is officially in the round of 32. We have made the knockout stage for the first time in our soccer history. So that's definitely a big accomplishment. And a lot of history was made in this game. So let's go ahead and just talk about the game itself. Um, right off bat, Bosnia was very aggressive in the game, and I really liked how they started out the game. Um, First 25 minutes, 30 minutes, there was no goals. So I was getting a little worried because I definitely thought we needed to go into halftime with a lead. So eventually, in the 29th minute, Bosnia gets on the board. 18-year-old Kerim Alajbegovic scores a spectacular solo goal. He dances through the midfield, cuts inside past two defenders, and fires a right footed shot into the top corner from 20 yards out. So it was definitely one of the best goals that I've seen in the World Cup so far. I don't know if it's the best one, but it's definitely up there. And it was just an amazing start for Bosnia. And the 18-year-old Karim Alajbegovic got Bosnia on the scoreboard. 5 minutes later, Bosnia doubles their lead when veteran captain Edin Dzeko, making his historic 150th cap, volleys a cross. The ball deflects off Qatar's defender and spins past the helpless goalkeeper, and Bosnia's up 2-0. So just an amazing start to the game up to that point. Um, who you wanted to see scored. Alaj Begovic with the first goal, Dzeko with the second goal, even though it was considered an own goal. Just an amazing start for Bosnia in the first half, and things looked really good. And just another few minutes later, Bosnia had an opportunity to go up 3-0. Dzeko gets a one-on-one chance to make it 3-0, but his powerful shot rattles off the post. And that was just a really, really good opportunity. If we had gone up 3-0 at that point, I think the game would have been over at that point. Qatar would not have a chance to come back, but we got a little unlucky there and the ball didn't go in. And then Qatar, a few minutes later, got a little luck in the 42nd minute. Qatar capitalizes on a defensive miscue. Edmilson Jr. intercepts an uncleared cross and tees up their captain, Hassan Al Hoidos, who taps it home from close range. So 2-1 at halftime. Things look really good again for Bosnia in the first half. We could have gone up 3-0, but Qatar had some chances as well. It could have easily been 2-2 at halftime. One of their players also hit the post. So there was definitely a lot of drama, a lot of hectic play. And the first half really, it could have gone either way. But Bosnia was able to head into halftime with that 2-1 lead. And, things were looking pretty good. But we still had the second half to go. So we get to the second half, and not too much action to start the second half, but in the 63rd minute, Bosnian manager Sergej Barbarez swaps out the legendary Edin Dzeko for Ermin Mahmic to inject fresh energy into the attack. So at this point in his career, Edin Dzeko is playing around 60 minutes or so. So that's as much as he can give at this point. When he came to the bench, he kind of threw his water bottle in frustration. Not sure if that was because he got subbed out and wanted to actually just stay in the game to see if he can score, or if he was upset about the missed goal opportunity that he had when he hit the post. So, but nonetheless, that substitution paid off for Bosnia in the 80th minute. Esmir Baraktarevic forces Abunada, the goalkeeper for Qatar, into a tough diving save. The ball rebounds into a chaotic scramble, and the substitute for Edin Dzeko, Ermin Mahmic, reacts quickest, firing it home first time from a penalty spot to seal the victory. So the second half was also very, very dramatic. Wasn't sure if Bosnia was going to play really defensive, and I was very worried that Qatar was going to tie this game up and that both of the teams would just end up missing out on the group stage. But again, in the 80th minute, Ermin Mahmic gets Bosnia to a 3-1 lead, gives us a little insurance there. If Qatar was going to score, we still had a goal to work with. So it was a lot easier to breathe after that third goal, and till the end of the game, that was pretty much the game. And Bosnia holds on to the 3-1 lead, ends up with 4 points in the group. After the game, it wasn't 100% certain if Bosnia had actually qualified for the round of 32 because we needed to see how the other games would work out. We had a 99.8% chance. So right after that, there was a Brazil versus Scotland game. And because Scotland lost, that pushed us up to 100% guaranteed to make the final 32, the group stage. So not too long after the Bosnia game, we got official word that we qualified, and that was amazing news. So just an amazing game to watch. I think I think the group stage was kind of what we expected from Bosnia versus Canada. The first game, it was kind of a close matchup there, and we ended up getting a tie, getting 1 point versus Switzerland, who's favorite in the group. We were kind of expecting that most likely we would lose that game, and that's kind of what happened. And then everything was left on this third game versus Qatar. We had to get this win, and we get the win. So Bosnia's seen it all in this group stage. We had a tie, a loss, and now a win. So we experienced it all in this group stage. And now we're in the final 32, most likely going to place or face the United States. So that's going to be an amazing game to watch. And we'll see what happens in that game. All right, guys. So let's take a look at the starting 11 for Bosnia versus Qatar. And we're just going to talk about which players played well and which players maybe underperformed. So let's take a look at the starting lineup. Nikola Vasil at goalie. The defenders on the left-hand side, Sad Kolasinac, and next to him, we had Stjepan Radovic, who was in for Tarik Muharremovic, who got a red card the last game. So he stepped in for Muharremovic. Nikola Katic is the other defender. And on the right-hand side, we had Arjan Malic, who was playing for Amar Dedic, who I believe was a bit injured. So that's why Malic got the start over Dedic. In the midfield, we had Ivan Basic and Ivan Šonjic. The wingers on the left-hand side, we had Kerim Alajbegovic. And on the right-hand side, we had Esmir Barektarevic. So this was definitely an interesting change in the starting lineup, putting in the two youngsters, the 18-year-old Kerim Alajbegovic on the left side, 21-year-old Esmir Barektarevic on the right-hand side. So this was kind of the anticipated move and what we all as Bosnian fans were hoping would happen, that these two guys would get the start. And then the two attackers in the front, there was no change there. Edmedin Demirovic and Edin Dzeko. So a few changes for Sergei Barbaras in this game, and I think it was overall, a really good starting lineup. So, which players do we want to make some comments on? I mean, Nikola Vasil, I think he's a really good goalkeeper. I trust him back there. He's very reliable, and I just think he's a very solid goalkeeper. So nothing bad to say about him. Nothing good, like very good to praise him for. He just had a solid game as usual. On the defensive end, I was really impressed with Sead Kolasinac on the left hand side. He was just playing really good. He had a lot of very good tackles. He was very strong. He was very fast. He was heading the ball out of danger. And when he needed to, he was pushing up the field as well to give some support to the attackers, to Alajbegovic, to Demirovic. So Sead Kolasinac was very, very strong on the left hand side. I was really impressed by him. He might have been the best player in this game. So great job by him. Next to him, Stjepan Radelic. I mean, he came in and played pretty well, you know, playing for Mohadamovic. That was kind of a little risky for Bosnia to see how things would look back there with Mohadamovic out, because Mohadamovic is probably Bosnia's best defender. He might be Bosnia's best player. So it was definitely a big loss and a little shaky to see who would play for him and how he would play. But Radelic came in. He didn't have any mistakes. He did his job. So great job filling in for Tarik Mohadamovic in this game. Next to him, Nikola Katic, just another really good defensive game. I think Katic is a really good defender, like Kolasinac is as well. It seems like Katic wins most of the head balls that come his way. He also has a lot of very good and clean tackles. So just a very, very good defender for Bosnia. On the right hand side, Arjan Malic, nothing too great, but nothing too bad from him. He didn't make like a big mistake or anything like that. So just a solid job filling in for Amar Dedic. And Malic was also pushing up the field like Kolasinac was on the left hand side. Malic was doing that on the right hand side. So it was good to see those two guys, you know, pushing up the field, supporting the two wingers and supporting the two strikers. So that was good to see. In the midfield, Basic and Šunjic, I think they had solid games. Basic, he he's probably Bosnia's best midfielder, to be honest. Um, Šunjic, just had a solid game, but Bosnia's midfield definitely played a lot better in this game, and I think those guys did pretty well. All right, so let's talk about the wingers. Kerim Alajbegovic had one of the best goals of the World Cup for sure. He dribbled through a couple defenders, wiggled through them, and had that amazing goal inside the post. So this is kind of what we were hoping for, putting Kerim Alajbegovic in the starting lineup, letting him go to work, letting him freestyle, and that's what he did. And he got that huge first goal for Bosnia. I think he was, the best player in this game, because that 1-0 lead was just huge psychologically and for the confidence of the team. And Alajbegovic really, really impressed me in this game. Um, he made some history as well. I believe he's the youngest player to score outside of the penalty box, like outside of 16 meters, which is really impressive. And he got a trophy with regards to that. And he was the eighth youngest player to score in the World Cup period. So he joined some very, very special company. He scored at a younger age than Lamine Yamal and Messi as well. So Karim Alibegovic, 18 years old, scoring his first goal in the World Cup. I think he's going to be the next star slash superstar striker in the world, and we're lucky to have him on our team. So history by him. Esmir Bajktarevic on the right wing side didn't have as good of a game, but still good enough. He had a nice shot on goal, and he didn't make any huge mistakes. So good game by him as well. The two strikers, Ermedin Demirovic. What I liked about his game was he was pressing and pressuring the defenders for Qatar when they had the ball. He's really fast and athletic, and he had some nice activity on the offensive end, even though there was no serious goal scoring opportunity for him. Edin Dzeko had that nice goal or own goal that he created against the Qatar defender. The ball was crossed to him, and he was going to cross it in, but the ball went off the defender for Qatar, and the ball goes in. So, in my book, that's a goal for Edin Dzeko. Just putting him on the field, having him there, just good things happen. And this game was a perfect example of that. So, I think all the guys played pretty well for the most part. I can't think of anybody like that was pretty bad. And the subs that came in also played well. I mentioned Admin Mahmic. He scored again his second goal in the World Cup. So that was good to see. And the other substitutes, they didn't have any mistakes, and they just did their job. So good job by all the players, and hopefully they keep it up in the next game. And we should have Tariq Muharremovic back. So things are looking good. All right, guys, let's go ahead and look forward to the next round, the knockout stage, the round of 32. So it's not official yet, but this is what it looks like as it stands. And Bosnia, almost at 100% certainty, will face the United States in the round of 32. So that's just going to be an amazing game to watch, especially for us Bosnians who live in America, who grew up in Bosnia and grew up in the United States. This is like, honestly, for me, like one of my favorite scenarios was for Bosnia to play the US. And the fact that the World Cup is in the US just makes it even that more intriguing. So, what an amazing game awaits us on Wednesday, July 1st, 2026. Bosnia and Herzegovina versus United States of America. Edin Dzeko versus Christian Pulisic. Bosnians versus Americans. I'm sure all the Bosnians, no matter how long they've been in the US, they're going to be rooting for Bosnia in this game. I would be shocked if there's an actual Bosnian rooting for the US in this game. We respect the US, they're a good team, but in this matchup, 100% for Bosnia in the game. So Bosnia is going to be a huge underdog in this game. The U.S. team has been playing really well this World Cup. They've already clinched the first place in the group. with within their first two games. They won both of those games, got 6 points. So the third game for them in the group stage doesn't even matter. So they've been really impressive so far, but they've definitely been more impressive than Bosnia has in the group stage. But when this game comes around, the group stage doesn't matter anymore. It's just sudden death, knockout stage, and any team can win. So Bosnia and the US have played before in friendlies and maybe some tournaments. So I feel like they've always played pretty competitively. I feel like the games have been close. I've never heard of like the US blowing out Bosnia or vice versa. So even though the US is a heavy favorite in this game, they are expected to win. It is going to be in, I believe, San Francisco area, California. So the US crowd is going to be huge, but Bosnia is also going to have fans as well. So even though the US is a heavy favorite, they're playing at home. I do think this game is going to be competitive. Um, Bosnia is going to have an amazing game. We might have to win in extra time in a penalty shootout like we did versus Wales and Italy. So this is going to be a must-watch game. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, this is a dream scenario for Bosnians in the US. For Bosnia to play the US in the World Cup with so many Bosnians living in the US and the World Cup is in the US, this is going to be maybe the best game, the most intriguing, the most exciting game of our lives. And the whole world is going to be watching. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere in the US. So just cannot wait for this game, cannot wait for Wednesday, July 1st to get here. And I think Bosnia can get it done. We have to be wise, we have to be patient. I don't want us to be as defensive as we were in the group stage. I want us to attack the US, but we also have to be careful and not let the game get out of control. So let's go, Bosnia. Great job qualifying for the knockout stage. Enjoy it. But let's go ahead and get ready for the US. Let's attack the US on July 1st and try to move on to the next round. All right, guys, that's all I wanted to share as far as this video. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got some value out of the content. And I hope you learned something as well. So, just before I wrap it up, again, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I can continue making these videos. Hit that like button and make some comments on your reaction to the Bosnia versus Qatar game and your prediction for the Bosnia versus US game. So that's it for me. See you guys next time and take care.